Train shows can be a lot of fun, whether it's something like the York Train Show or something like the one I just went to here in Omaha, Nebraska. They can be a great way to find excellent deals and meet equally excellent people. And I came away from this recent show here with the Nebraska-Iowa Railroaders thinking, man, that kind of reminded me of York, even though it was nowhere near the scale of the epic O-gauge mecca that is the York Train Show. So I wanted to show you some stories as to why I think regardless of the show, you can have a good time. So, the show that I just came back from was the spring train show for the Nebraska-Iowa Railroaders, held at the Papillion Landing Field House, just south of Omaha, Nebraska. And it was a lot of fun. Train shows usually are, regardless, again, of how big or small they are. This is one hall, in fact, it's even a soccer field, and it was full of all sorts of awesome trains and displays for people to enjoy of all ages. Didn't matter whether you collected the smaller stuff like Z-scale or N-scale, or whether you're into bigger stuff like O-gauge and even G-scale. There was something there for everyone. There were lots of vendors there with t-shirts and other memorabilia to be able to just, you could dress up your train room with stuff here. There's a lot at train shows, especially the good ones like this one here. So I brought my son and my nephew. We had a bunch of fun on the last day. I wish I had a little bit more time to spend at these things. I got a busy life. There's a lot of other things that are going on. But I was still glad to catch the tail end of this show because everyone I wanted to see was there. Well, I mean, at least everyone I managed to find. A bunch of great people that I know from the club were there. And there were folks there that even recognized me from this show. So big shout out to all those who said hello. It was really great meeting you guys and getting the support from you. That means a lot. So thank you so much. It was also even better to kind of share the rails with one of the folks that follows our channel here. It was really wonderful running his Rail King Big Boy with my Lion Master Big Boy around the O-gauge layout that was set up in the back corner of the building. So that was a ton of fun. You're welcome, guys. The Rail King looks good with those cars behind it. But regardless, it was really fun meeting with folks there. And some of the folks that I got to meet there, I've met before. Sleeves Rail Archives, he lives a little bit west of me, and he was kind enough to do those cool ride-on trains that my son and I did with my wife out in Waverly, Nebraska. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. We had a ton of fun with them. But he's also into model trains, and he's got some O-gauge himself, so it was great catching up with him. And TDKC Trains from the Kansas City area drove up to hang out with us as well. So it was a lot of fun meeting with him again. He's actually gone to the York Train Show a couple times as well. It was kind of funny because he's only a couple hours south of me, but the first time I met him was at York in spring of 2024. So kind of funny to see us both going to the show, but we had never, met, even though we live much closer to each other than, a 17-hour drive from the Midwest to York, Pennsylvania. But the thing I wanted to get back to, and something that really made this show feel like York, are those people that I was meeting. There's a lot of cool stuff to go through, and I did have a chance to browse through some of the vendor areas. My son is so excited when he comes to these things, so it's just, hey, look at this, hey, look at that, look at this train I found, look at that train over there, look at this one, do we have this one? It was very similar to my experience at the Fall York show, because I didn't get to do a whole lot of browsing myself, because my son was doing it for me. So I would say, if you're going to a train show, and you want to actually go through and browse stuff, you should either find something else for the kids to do, or just understand that you're probably not going to have the time to be able to do it like you'd hoped. It is still a ton of fun. I don't regret letting him run around and be able to kind of steer the wheel, so to speak. So that was still a bunch of fun to be able to see him to get excited about these trains and see all that stuff. So I personally, again, just like York 2024, in the fall, I didn't get anything from this show, but I was having too much fun with people, whether it was my son there, or folks that I was meeting for the first time, or folks that I had known a little bit, especially guys in the club there too that were kind enough to let me run some of the trains that I had brought. In the event that they let me run some trains, I had them in the back of the car just in case. It was really fun to run Big Boy around, and especially to share some of my freight cars again with the kid that brought his Rail King Big Boy. So to have both of ours running in opposite directions around this cool modular layout was a lot of fun. And after we helped tear it down, I had the pleasure of hosting Sleeves Rails and TDKC Trains over the house. They got to see my layout here, the secondhand overland. So it was fun having them over. I wish I had a little bit more time to spend doing that. I had some plans with family afterwards, and I'm thankful they were understanding of that, but it was still really great to have them over here to see stuff, to run some stuff. There's a train we ran around here that definitely should not have been able to run around 048, but hey, it still worked. It was fun to run some trains with them together, and that's really the thing that I come back with, regardless of how big or small or wherever it's located in the region. If you can get to a train show, it's probably going to be a good time because of the people that are there. Sharing this hobby with others has been one of the driving forces as to why I enjoy this so much and why I keep making videos and why I keep expanding the layout and keep looking for stuff and keep in touch with folks that I've met at shows or met online even. That's a big opportunity to be able to meet them in person. And so that brings up the question of, are these things more of just a social gathering? And unfortunately, that means that maybe the vendors take a hit because they're selling less because we're spending too much time hanging out and chatting. I don't think so. There was still plenty of folks getting stuff, and my buddies that were there were kind enough to go out and scope out a few deals for me while I was there. I just flat out ran out of time. I think had I had more time at the train show, I probably would have had a chance to actually peruse things and find some stuff for the layout. But came home empty-handed, but my cheekbones are killing me because of all the fun that I had with this. So I encourage you, if you've never been to a train show or if there's one nearby, just go to meet people, to interact with folks, to pick their brains on stuff, because the social aspect of this is something that I think gets overlooked. Is something it's so easy to get wrapped up in the hardware, in the trains, and the track, and the layout building, and all that other stuff. The people, to me, are really what make this a lot of fun. And I'm so glad that TDKC Trains and Sleeves Rail Archives were able to come over after the show as well. That was, again, really fun hosting them here. And I do still have some stuff to work on. A friend of mine's dad gave us a bunch of train stuff, and among them was this kind of neat box I had never seen before, till I realized this is circa 1956. Now, this is a set that wasn't exactly the most well-received in Lionel, but it's still neat that it's here. This switcher needs a little bit of love, so I'm going to get to work on making sure that those motors work and everything, because it seems like all the wiring and everything is in place. There's nothing frayed, there's nothing chewed up or rotting or anything gross like that. This aesthetically is in pretty good shape. And I found some other cars and stuff in there as well, including this Sioux Line car that I'm told is a little bit tricky to find. So that's neat to clean up. I got some vintage stuff to be working on, and that's part of the reason why I've been redoing this elevated line, is to have a more level and more consistent space to be able to run trains, especially the conventional trains, a little more consistently. This elevated line is just hooked up to that CW80 transformer. The rest of the line that's running through the base 3, this is all command control. And I'm going to figure out a way to get this to do conventional as well, because my Power Master hasn't been working right with my base 3. That's something I need to figure out. But yeah, having the ability to run more conventional trains up top here, like our old Scout from 1946 that we still have down here, yeah, it's going to be cool to be able to do more of that. Speaking of more stuff, stay tuned, because I've got, as you can tell, a bunch of stuff that we're working on, including getting this little guy running, doing some more videos of layout updates. I've got one more wrap-up to do with the lighting and such, and probably feature some of these vintage cars then too, because that's something I haven't really gotten into on the channel. So leave a comment with stuff you'd like to see, and let me know what you thought. What train shows have you guys been to? What do you like about them most? I'm a big social bug, so maybe the social aspect is more important to me than it is to others. Leave a comment down below. There's no right or wrong answers. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment and a like and all that fun stuff. That always helps the channel as well. Plus, it's just great hearing from you guys. So thank you all for your support, and we'll see you on the next one.